Hey, this is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to the one and only Word on the Street podcast.
This is Bob the Beast Snap, and you're listening to Ramsey on Word on the Street. I'm on the street, baby! Word.
Word.
But yes, Jennifer, are you ready for my ridiculous ending questions to wrap this up for you? Okay.
Yes.
Now you you went through all the trouble to go through school and get your degrees in law school and study this and that. The bar exam, you had to pass that. All just to bring you here to this point where you have to answer my stupid questions. So congratulations.
This is the highlight of my day. What are you talking about?
I hope so. And yeah, just for a little programming note, most people, for Jennifer's time, she's a lawyer. This would cost you by the minute. She's doing this out of the goodness of her heart and the love of the sport. So thank you again, Jennifer.
We would owe thousands.
That's right. Yeah.
My pleasure.
And I was trying to keep this short. I'm trying to get better at this, people. But when you get going with somebody interesting, it's real talk. That's the word on the street. Okay, so Jennifer, some of your best known cases, they involve reversing and appealing false convictions. Like I've seen enough movies. We've all seen the prison movies or whatever. According to the movies, like the cliche is that everybody in there is innocent, right? So how do you know when you've got a valid appeal or a case of corruption on your hands? Like, how are you able to tell the difference?
Well, I have a pretty well-honed bullshit barometer, I will say that. But, listen, the evidence speaks for itself usually. And I have found that the cases where someone is actually innocent or factually innocent, not just like, okay, they didn't have enough evidence to prove him, but someone who's been wrongly convicted, factually innocent, I find that you see in the evidence real problems. It speaks for itself. I will also tell you another little trick. I have found that, and it's not a question I ask when I represent someone initially, are you innocent or are you guilty? It's my job to represent people, and it's not my job to I can't defraud the court certainly, but I'm not, I have to do my best job to interview somebody without putting on false testimony. Mm-hmm. But people who are actually innocent, factually innocent, they're screaming and talking about their innocence all the time. I'm innocent. They talk about it in terms of being wrongfully convicted. Whereas people who know, maybe I got screwed over, but I'm really not that innocent. They're not. I have found my clients are like, they're pretty honest people. Most of them. They're kind of like, do the best you can for me. But they're not going to lie to my face and say they're innocent when they're not. That's usually the rule. And I still do my best job to represent them because that's my job. But I've never found it particularly difficult to be like, I wonder if this one's legit or not legit. I just really feel like, when I look at the evidence and when I talk to my clients, and I know it, and then I work my ass off to prove it. And I've been pretty successful with these cases, and they're heartbreaking to me. But because you see how it's ruined families, and it ruins it for the victims too, because the victims think that the right person is in jail, and they're not. It's incredible work, very fulfilling, but very frustrating in a system that's designed to screw over people.
Yep, and of course, and the worst part, the guilty person is still out there, more than likely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
a lot of people suffer.
Yeah, that's screwed up. Okay, not MMA, sorry, lawyer movies. I'm stuck on the MMA thing because it's MMA podcast. Movies. Lawyer movies. Okay, I got to know. Shawshank Redemption, based on a short story written by Stephen King.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you've seen the movie? Okay.
I have seen it, and it's one of, people, this is a joke. It's like every guy I know, it's one of their favorite movies, and this is why I think, I'm somewhere, inside, I don't know, maybe in past life I was a dude or something. It's literally one of my favorite shows as well. Our favorite movies, top 3 favorite movies, absolutely.
So I got to ask you then, Andy Dufresne, he gets wrongfully convicted, sentenced to life or whatever. So of course, throughout the whole movie, he's a smart guy. The law doesn't help him. He ends up tunneling out of there behind the poster of, I forget her name. Rita something Hayworth, I believe.
Bridget Bardot.
Yeah. So he tunnels his way out of that damn prison because the law ain't gonna help him. Now, you as a lawyer, did you see that ending where you're like, yeah, man, get the hell out of there? Or in the back of your mind, are you thinking, damn it, I would have loved to have taken that case. He should have stayed in jail. He would be a millionaire. Like, what's your take on that?
It's a funny question, and no, I was pulling for him the whole time, because the reality is I can't represent everybody, and I know most lawyers suck. I mean, even in my own field, I'm going to talk about my own colleagues. I think most lawyers, criminal defense attorneys, people in my field, I can't vouch for them. I mean, it's like managers, like Jamie was saying earlier. I can't vouch for, there's so few colleagues of mine that I can even recommend, because I think so many of them are terrible. So I know what type of work I put in. I know what type of representation I provide, but I can't handle every case. I mean, I can barely scratch the surface, and I get tons of penitentiary mail. Heard about you from this guy, heard about you from this guy, please take my case. And you're talking about poor people, too, that have no ability to hire attorneys. I take a lot of cases. Almost all my wrongful conviction cases I take pro bono. And meaning, these are indigent people. It's not rich people getting framed. So I was rooting for Andy. I'm a bit of, I have some vigilante tendencies. Like, sometimes you gotta take the law in your own hands. Not that I'm promoting that, but no,
I hear
you. Had to do it. I definitely liked that ending.
Damn good movie. Okay.
But if he had called me, I would have taken his case, and I would have won it.
I bet you would have. I would bet money on that, definitely. Shout out to Andy Dufresne. Okay, so let's say, just for anybody out there listening, you're a lawyer. Let's say anybody out there gets arrested, pulled over, or just the cops show up for some reason or other. They say you're under arrest. They're not telling you why. You're just, anytime you're arrested, what is the best advice from a lawyer? Do you want to talk to the cops or no?
As a general rule, particularly in the more serious cases, I mean, I handle more serious felonies. I don't do a lot of, I don't do DUI work. I don't do small cases all that often. But I will give a little bit of advice about DUIs. But when it comes to more serious cases, the police are not your friends, unless you literally know the person. But they're there to try to get you to make admissions and make statements that incriminate you, and they're going to use against you.
They're there to make an arrest.
Quiet. Exactly. And so the best course of action is to say, I want to speak to my lawyer. And you can do it politely. You don't have to piss them off. You can say, listen, I want to cooperate, but I want my lawyer. I just want to be safe. I want my lawyer. And once you've asserted your right to a lawyer, what they're supposed to do is cease all interrogation, cease all questioning, and they're supposed to give you the opportunity to contact a lawyer or give you, they don't have to provide you with a lawyer at that time, but they say fine, and they're supposed to leave you alone. And again, that's done in a polite way.
Even when you think you're in the right, because what I always worry about is this. I live alone here in Austin, Texas, and it's Texas, so of course I'm protecting myself. I'm defended, but I've always wondered, let's say somebody does. The worst happens. He tries to break in and come into my place. And, I of course, I will shoot him dead. So then, and then I will call the police. But starting at that moment, when I dial 911, what should I do if I've just shot an intruder defending myself? As a lawyer, what is your advice? Right.
Well, that's a slightly different question. And if you have shot someone legitimately in self-defense, it's a complete justification to the crime. So you actually haven't committed any type of, you haven't broken any laws. Of course, the same time, there's going to be a dead or injured person in your house, and people are going to be scrutinizing your conduct. So you want to make sure that you have, handled it in the best way under the circumstances as possible. And when you call 911, I think it would be important to say immediately what has happened, that you shot an intruder that had broken into your home, and, you need the police to come. And, and in those situations, you would talk to the police because, you haven't done, you haven't committed a crime that you needed to necessarily defend yourself against. So, that's a slightly different scenario where you're sort of, at first blush, look like, you're an aggressor because you've shot somebody, but you definitely do want to be forthcoming and from the beginning, and, sure you're consistent. People think you're lying when you're inconsistent.
Yeah, but anytime the cuffs come on, it's basically time to stop talking to them. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think any time that they've indicated that you are the subject of the investigation and you've done some type of crime, you want your lawyer. I mean, we're there for a reason. And you don't completely understand because you're not savvy enough with the system, hopefully, unless you're a career criminal, how the police will operate in investigating a case. You don't even know, whether something becomes important that you're admitting to or that looks suspicious, that isn't necessarily suspicious. It's really just better to have your attorney present, and at all times. And now, when it comes to DUIs, if you're drunk, don't blow. Don't blow the breathalyzer. Refuse.
Never.
You're still going to lose your license for 6 months, but you may not get a DUI. So
nice.
That's the criminal defense advice on that.
There you go. Refuse the tests, people.
Don't even do the field tests. If you can't pass them, don't try them if you know you're going to fail them. Is the point?
Yep.
No, I want my lawyer.
Definitely. Yep.
You're still going to get your license suspended, but they still have to prove your DUI, which is a different issue.
Yep. And if you haven't memorized the ZYX, WVUT, etc., you need to do that tonight, people. Jennifer, last question. I've got to ask. I did my research here on the Word in the Street podcast a little bit here. I did see a clip of you on Fox News debating something that it's back in the news again because the trial is finally somewhat on. I'm talking about the George Zimmerman case, the Trayvon Martin shooting. For any of the listeners, George Zimmerman. You might have vaguely heard. He was basically he got into an altercation with someone who he deemed was suspicious walking around in his neighborhood. It ended up being a young black man named Trayvon Martin. I think he was a teenager, I believe. George Zimmerman ends up shooting him in what he's claiming is self-defense. Jennifer, what is real talk? If you're involved in any way, of course I understand. But real talk, what's your take on this case?
Well, listen, early on when he hadn't been arrested, I was very much, I was on the news and, I was very concerned that he had not been arrested under the facts that I had heard, it's TV, they don't always get it right, but based on the facts that I had heard, it sounded to me like there was probable cause to arrest him and that they should have arrested him. It took them 44 days to arrest him, I believe, and that to me was a sign that there was some type of, something corruption in that particular police department, and I stand by that view. But I'm a criminal defense attorney, and now that he was arrested, the process is underway, and we're going to find out in court whether or not what the evidence shows. He claims he acted in self-defense. He's going to have to put on evidence that he acted in self-defense, and if he did legitimately act in self-defense, then of course it's a justification. But we don't know. They're still picking a jury, and the most important thing about trying a criminal case, in my opinion, is you got to get a fair jury, and it's very hard sometimes for defendants to do. And that's where they're at. I'll be interested to hear the evidence. I think there's a lot to suggest that he was a little trigger happy, but, I'm not on the jury, and I'm going to keep an open mind until I hear what comes from the witness stand.
Well,
if a defense attorney can't do that, then nobody should be expected to do it.
yeah. If you could, hate to press you, but if you could step outside of your own shoes, if you were just looking at it, and you had to, you were in Vegas and you had to bet money.
Yeah.
Is George Zimmerman going to be found guilty of any kind of charge of manslaughter or, I guess, murder?
I don't think it would be murder. I think it'll be a lesser, but yeah, I think he's going to be found guilty. I do, based on the evidence I've heard. Yeah,
I mean, his story, this is just me talking, people, his story that he's going to run with is that, and I may be wrong, but he's going to say that Trayvon Martin attacked him out of nowhere, and then there was like a ground and pound MMA style thing going on. George Zimmerman was getting his ass whooped, and then all of a sudden Trayvon Martin says, "I'm going to kill you." He sees the gun, starts reaching for it, and that's when George Zimmerman shoots him. That's the story that I believe that they're going to present in court, which sounds like exactly what you would say if you had to write the perfect story to get yourself out of trouble.
It doesn't pass the smell test to me. Mm-hmm. I hate to be, without being in the courtroom, it's hard for me to judge these things because I like to keep an open mind, but if I'm stepping out of my lawyer mode, there's just too much to suggest that, I'm not saying he didn't make a very terrible mistake, but I don't think it was self-defense. Yeah,
it sounds to me like, on Real Talk, it was just the case of two people with the wrong mindset colliding with each other at the wrong time.
Yep.
With preconceived notions about each other, exactly. and it just led to disaster. So.
Yep, and here we go. But yes, sorry, Jennifer. Thank you so much for coming on the show, educating us. Definitely, I can't thank you enough for your time. Every single minute of it.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I'd rather do this than Fox News any day of the week. It's Fox News, but this is fun.
We're not cutting you off to run Viagra commercials or ask who has mesothelioma. I just want to make sure that Jake or Coach Jamie Huey doesn't have anything else for you, or actually, it's time for the goodbyes, people. Let's say goodbye to our guest, Jennifer Bonjean. Look her up. Where can we actually contact you, Jennifer? Anybody that's out there?
I'm all over the place. Let's see.
You got a Twitter?
My law firm is I'm at Jennifer Bonjean on Twitter. At House of Arc is now up on Twitter, and of course Bonjean Law Group. My law firm is www.bonjeanlaw.com. And if you just Google my name, it's pretty easy to find. There aren't a ton of Jennifer Bonjeans out there. I guess it's fortunate nowadays.
There's only one in our book, though. And Coach Jamie, the living legend, who was good enough to hook us up with you on this interview.
Well, he is a living legend. He was good enough to hook me up, so I appreciate it. It was a fun night.
Coach Huey, is she as cool as she seems on the line here?
We had a good time hanging out in Newark, and we're going to have an even better time hanging out this weekend. So, Jennifer.
Listen, I work hard, but I play harder. But the only thing that beats my working is my playing.
There you go, people. Jennifer Bonjean.
Follow my Vine, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I saw some of that yesterday. What? Wow! That we
were celebrating my big win in Chicago, so I was, celebrating usually involves alcohol with me. So.
I was hoping it was a celebration, not just like a normal Monday. But those fine videos. Definitely check them out. But no, that beer looked delicious. The last one, the beer, it had, you could feel the hops rising out of it. I know my beers here in Austin, Texas, people. That is the word on the street. But Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully you'll be back again sometime. And
I hope so. I hope MMA is legal in New York when I am, and I'm talking about all the great things we're doing in New York.
Oh yeah,
it'll happen. Appears to be dead in the water for now, but trust me, people, it will happen. These dinosaurs will die off eventually. Jennifer, thanks so much. We will let you go, and we'll keep in touch. Follow her at Jennifer Bonjean on Twitter. Thanks again.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Night. Mm-hmm.
See ya.